Good afternoon, YouTubers, YouTube creators, my subscribers and my Trevorites. Thank you very much for continuing to support this channel. It means a lot. Well, if you've looked at the thumbnail, and I will make this my last video on veterans on the lead up to Remembrance Day. Now, I am always being a pain in the ass to MPs, a pain in the ass to media and not only politicians, but the journalists. And I've got a decent following, which helped me be a pain in the ass. And I poke people to try and push things. Well, I've said for many, many years that there needs to be a massive investigation into veterans charities. With over 1,800 of them in the UK, with a grand total of nearly £3 billion in their accounts at any one time, there should not be a single homeless veteran in the United Kingdom. There shouldn't be. But when veterans fall in hard times, they usually come from great households, marriages, yes, but mental health eats away at them. The things they've seen, the trauma they've been involved in on the battlefield, off the battlefield, it plays in their mind and it eats away at them. And rather than share that information with their families, because they don't want to ruin their families, they keep it to themselves and it ruins their marriage. They end up leaving the marital home, and many of them become homeless. But when you look at homelessness, there's different priorities. You go and you apply for a council house, you have different priorities. Who do you think comes in those priorities? Oh yes, veterans are a priority. Oh, they are. But so is a pregnant girl. She's a priority. Her priority, it meets more needs than his priority or her priority. Asylum seekers are a priority. Refugees are a priority. Economic migrants are a priority. Disabled are a priority. So whenever they put a veteran down as a priority for a home, you're a priority. What they don't tell you is there's a list of about 9 priorities and you're at the bottom of that priority list, but they're still classed as a priority to make you feel good about yourself. Homelessness. You think that's a priority? Many charities are left to pick up the tab. So what happens then if you've got, let's say, between 4,000 and 6,000 homeless veterans? Not too sure of the exact number. It used to be around about 5,500 to 6,000. I think they're saying now it's 4,000. Isn't it strange how our government seem to find empty military disused sites for asylum seekers, refugees, but they can't find the same sites for veterans because veterans don't bring money in. But if you house a refugee, asylum seeker, economic migrant, you get money per capita, money per head. Now, a while ago, Johnny Mercer, who's the Veterans Minister now, and he's doing a very good job. This is not a dig at him. I know he's working extremely hard. But he did vow to end veterans' homelessness by the end of this year. It's nowhere near getting done yet. Why do you think that is? Is it because Johnny's hard work? No, it's not. Johnny's working extremely hard. But you try and fix veterans' homelessness in an industry where dozens and dozens and dozens of charities rely on donations to pay CEOs' wages and to pay staff. Yes, imagine fixing that gap. Imagine fixing that small thing, veterans' homelessness. It would put many CEOs on the breadline. Loads of charities would close down. Loads of ambassadors and patrons that are in the House of Lords and different people, generals that support these charities. Veterans' misery pays well to people that support it. Now, that's the matter of fact.
One thing that concerns my listeners so much about the veterans, particularly in the winter months, is the number who are homeless. What can be done to help those men and women, Minister?
So I'll tell you what, Nick, we are going to end veterans' homelessness this year through a project I launched at Christmas called Op Fortitude, which is going to be a single defined care pathway for veterans out of homelessness. £8.5 million, 910 supported housing placements. Is going live in April. By the end of this year, I don't want to see a single involuntarily sleeping rough homeless veteran in this country. The numbers are not where people think they are. They are manageable. There's something we can do about it. There should not be any veterans involuntarily sleeping rough in this country by the end of this year, and you can hold me to that.
That is quite a promise, Minister. Do you have a...
Well, you've just heard from Johnny Mercer what he wanted to achieve. However, there is a lot of stepping stones and a lot of obstacles in his way. Now, I'm going to read to you a letter that I got back from the Ministry of Defence when I inquired about utilising disused military sites to help homeless veterans. Now, this letter is from James Cartridge MP. He's the Minister for State for Defence Procurement. In other words, he's the guy at the top in charge of all the sites. Dear Theresa, which is my MP, thank you for corresponding on the 29th of August on behalf of your constituent Trevor Colt regarding utilising disused military defence MOD sites to house homeless veterans. I am grateful for the opportunity to respond. First and foremost, I would like to assure your constituent that the Ministry of Defence greatly values the contributions of service personnel and veterans alike. The department is currently undertaking an extensive piece of work to explore the options available to provide housing to homeless veterans. I'm sure you will appreciate that this will take time, as the MOD will be engaging and collaborating with other government departments and local authorities. Noting that the responsibility for housing, including veterans, lies with the Department for Levelling Up Housing and Communities. Turning to the process, MOD follows when disposing of land. It may be helpful if I explain that there are clear MOD policy and Treasury guidelines to follow. Once the site is declared surplus to defence purposes, other public bodies will have an opportunity to express an interest in acquiring the site, which will generally be a full market value. If no other government departments express an interest, then the site will be sold in a way which achieves the best value for the taxpayer. This is usually via the open market. Well, Mr. James Cartridge, MP for Defence Procurement, I would like to point out that your sites that are sold off to private companies are then rented back to the MOD and the government, especially the Home Office. You sell them off and then you rent them back to house homeless, should I call it, refugees, asylum seekers and illegal immigrants. You house them at the taxpayer's expense. So if you're telling me that it's not at the taxpayer, it shouldn't be at the taxpayer's expense for veterans, why is it at the taxpayer's expense to house people arriving on our shores? You've just shot yourself in the foot there by saying that housing veterans is not in the interest of the taxpayer. Thank you very much for listening, everyone. And that is why we will still have more homeless veterans next year and the year after and the year after. Thanks for watching. Stay safe.